Let's talk about signposting or linking. There's lots of words for this, but the idea of incoherence and cohesion, where each part of your essay in task 2 helps the reader or the examiner understand what's happening. So we're going to show you the nice flow that you should have through your task 2 essay. The best way to start examining signposting or linking is by having a look at the question. So here's a nice simple question which we're going to focus on so we can really concentrate on the linking phrases and signposting in a task 2 essay. So here's the basic question. Crime is rising in many countries. Why is this? And then what can be done? So this type of essay is cause and solution essay. Let's look at as the paragraph draws up now, you see the 4 paragraphs. This is a nice simple paragraph structure here, where we're going to have an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So as we see the lines swinging through the essay there, that's to show the flow. So there should be a nice, easy flow through your essay in task 2. So it's very easy for the examiner to read and understand your ideas. We've already looked at introductions, so this is just a very brief overview of that. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you go back and check out the videos about introductions. But very briefly, as we've talked about before, the first sentence should be discussing the background information, which in this question is crime rising in many countries. So that's the first sentence. Then the second sentence is going to do 2 things. So we've got 2 arrows here because it's going to be answering the question, which in this case is what are the causes and what's some solutions. But it's also going to preview what's coming up in the rest of the essay. So that sentence is very important, and it's called a thesis statement. Now let's, at this stage, have a look at the middle paragraphs, which are the body paragraphs. And as we're going to zoom in over to the side here now so you can see it more clearly. So this would be the first body paragraph. You see the line waving through there again. It's like a road coming through the paragraph. So the paragraph is the same as the essay. It should be nice and easy for the reader to follow your ideas within the paragraph. So this first sentence is important. It's called a topic sentence, and it's going to tell the reader what's coming within this paragraph. So in this situation we've got causes first, so this would be a cause one, so maybe there are several causes for rising crime, for example. Then the next signposting that we need is to explain to the reader, here is the first cause, this is what I think is causing the problem, and then we have to give an example or an explanation or both of that first cause. And then maybe we have a second cause coming in here, and then exactly the same idea. Once we've described to the reader the second cause, we need to explain that idea or give an example. Now, not all your paragraphs need to be like this. You could separate those. When it comes to the second cause, you could separate it into a new paragraph sometimes. Maybe you're going to have 2 or 3 examples, or it's a complicated explanation. Then you might have to decide to split that paragraph or any paragraph. But just remember, every paragraph should have at least 1 point, sometimes 2. It should be telling the reader what's in that paragraph. It should have lots of examples. If you're going to have 2 causes like this person has, then in the topic sentence it should say that there are 2 main causes. Now we have the topic sentence for the second body paragraph. Now, this is a wee bit more tricky, because now to have a good coherence, and so there's a nice flow from the last paragraph to this paragraph, we need to connect this paragraph to the last one. And then we need to do the same thing as the last topic sentence we now are previewing. So in this topic sentence here, what you might say in this situation, as we change from causes to solutions, we might say, although there are many problems, there are also some solutions, which we're going to now look at. And then this becomes very similar to the last paragraph, where we would have our first solution now, and then we go through to the example or the explanation, and then a second solution, and some more examples and explanations for that second solution down to the bottom there. And finally, now we come back to the summary or the conclusion. So we see what's happening here is that if we watch that smooth line now changing and going backwards, so the main purpose of the final paragraph, the summary or conclusion, is to recap what you've already said. So you repeat it and make sure you go back to the question, so the examiner is clear that you've answered the question. Now, by doing this in your essays, it will improve your coherence and cohesion, but also your task response. So those two things certainly improve. Now, this is just a little way for you to practice. You see the 7 points there. We're going to think about what signposting words you might use in those spaces. So a list is coming up right now, and you can pause here and think about where you would put those words. The first two are pretty easy. So now we're going to see the answers as they move across. So this essay will, obviously that's in the top signpost there, that's the first signpost, and the in summary down the bottom. Pretty easy, those two. Now how about these ones that are coming up now? Now they can go in more than one place, but the most common place for this, however, or in contrast, would be the topic sentence as you change in the middle of your essay. There are two main effects, or solutions, or arguments. That would probably be in number 1 there. That's the best place to start, but it could also be down number 4 as if you changed topics. So even more importantly, or even more disturbingly, would be in that second place. It's a good signposting word to use for your second idea. This, a very significant problem, cause, solution, or argument, would be your first idea. That's a good thing to put in the first place. Now, never forget examples, of course. We haven't mentioned them because they're pretty easy. We'd put them in between or after the main points there. Remember, there's language we can use for that as well. A good example, a very good example, a further example. That's it for the signposting. Remember that this connects very closely to the coherence and cohesion in task 2. So the next videos will be analysing different kinds of coherence and cohesion and signposting in all the different types of task 2 essays.